Oh, and a nice hit from the Catalunya there on the Bregenz. Oh no, Concordia, what have you done? Right, now that we've regained some organization, we are going to re-engage the Mexican fleet. Oh, what was that? Oh, that didn't sound good at all. Oh, and in the middle of the war, we have got a chance to potentially take the Dominican Republic, and I think that is a... Oh, their torpedo boat is making a run for the Concordia, with the fleet of oceans leading, steaming along. Our baby Dreadnought, our almost full Dreadnought. Oh, now they're now starting to send in some of their bigger ships. Oh no, the Purificación has just taken a big shell hit, and I believe that's caused a flash fire. Oh, look at the rain of fire coming in from the battle line here. The Fleet of Oceans is opening up with all of her big 11-inch guns. Oh, and we've already got a... Hey everyone, hope you're doing well, and welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. And it is October 1904, and we are at war with the United States of America. After a serious diplomatic incident, they have declared war on us, and we are now scrambling to get a fleet sent over to deal with their naval threats to our shipping in the Caribbean. But the war with America is not our only focus. Last time we had a short but bloody war with China, a war that we won, and a separate war between them and France is currently escalating, with the French leading a powerful incursion into southern China and carrying all before them. But even though we beat the Chinese at sea, it did come at a cost, and we lost one of our main cruiser squadrons. So the squadron that was based at Manila was utterly annihilated in a fleet action. We've still got the two battleships, the old Pembroke class battleships. They did themselves well. And we've got one of the first of the Invincible class pocket battleships arriving as well, which has put Davao over port capacity, so we'll need to fiddle around with that a bit. Now, unfortunately, the battleship Palaeo has come in severely overweight, 10% overweight. So it's meant to have a displacement of 15,700 tons, and it's coming at 17,229 tons. So that has got a bunch of horrible debuffs on it. So in a way, I'm glad that it's over there, sort of out of the way right now, because I believe, yes, I believe the Invincible in the Caribbean, the first of her class, is a little bit overweight as well, but only by 1%. So that's nowhere near as bad. I think we need to have a chat with the shipyards to make sure that they're not just bolting on random bits of steel plate just because it looks nice. As far as the war with America goes, they do have an advantage in total ship numbers. So they have a fleet of 86 ships, which includes 11 battleships, 9 heavy cruisers, and 34 light cruisers, versus our much more modest fleet of 7 battleships, 11 heavy cruisers, 20 light cruisers, and 16 destroyers. We scrapped our torpedo boats because they just were not performing. Now, I do know for a fact that in most of this campaign, the US Navy has not done a lot of scrapping, so there's a high chance they're running a fairly outdated fleet, so potentially this will be a war where quality over quantity counts, but that remains to be seen. So, first order of the day is to order some more ships to be built for the Pacific squadrons. Now, we already have some building, so we've got just under 30,000 spare tonnage in the shipyard, so that should be fine. So we're going to build 3 of the extra Maduras and 1 of the Cristobal Colons, which we designed last time. Actually, we can't build 1 of the Cristobal Colons because there isn't enough spare room in the ports, so it's going to be 3 battleships plus the light cruisers, and we really need to get some destroyers based out here as well. So I think we're going to have to do a bit of fleet management around here. Alright, so we've got 3 of the Guantanamo destroyers being built and sent off to the Caroline Islands, and once they are over there, we're going to get the fleet out and patrolling for any American incursions into the Philippine Sea, because I believe we are running a historical Actually, no, I think we're running a historical, so anything can happen. America could go for the Caribbean islands, or they could start making a run west, and we just want to cover all of our bases. Now, the next thing we need to do before we get stuck into this war with America is get some proper Dreadnoughts building, because currently we have been building the Invincible class, which is a baby baby Dreadnoughts armed with 10-inch guns, but now that we have expanded our shipyards, we are going to build a proper Dreadnought battleship. Now, the first and only class of battleship that the Spanish Navy had was the España class, and we're going to make our first battleship along those lines. Now, this will come at a cost of firepower because the España class only had 8 12-inch guns. They had them in 4 double mounts, as opposed to the more usual 10 12-inch guns that you had on the earlier Dreadnoughts. Now, my thought process was I could either up the firepower and potentially equip her with 13-inch guns, or I can up the armor and essentially make her a floating tank. And I think sticking 13-inch guns on something in 1904 is a little bit cheesy. So instead, we're going to go down the route of this is going to be a Dreadnought that can really take some hits at a slight cost of firepower. So this is going to be considerably up-armored compared to the Invincible class, at the trade-off of only having 8 12-inch guns. Now, the other thing we're going to have to do is make this ship quite beamy, because the original Invincible class had a really interesting gun layout, at least as far as these kind of battleships went. And now that is also going to somewhat restrict us on how we do the bridge and secondary tower layout. So we're going to have to play around with this a little bit, because we're going to have to keep it fairly compact in the center. Because with the España, they had twin turrets forward, twin turrets aft, and then they had like a single wing turret on each side that could essentially cover both port and starboard at the same time. So something like that. Now, we do need to correct our port offset a little bit. That isn't really what the España looked like at all, because her, I believe her central guns were a bit closer together. Additionally, her hull looked different to this. The central part of the hull, I believe, was slightly raised up compared to the extreme fore and aft sections. But this is it's an interesting design, and I kind of like it. It is going to be quite underpowered compared to other Dreadnoughts, but we're going to make up for that with some serious armor. Now, we're going to give it 6-inch secondaries, which I believe will be more than enough. And, oh, we do need to drop the tonnage down, I've just realized. So the España was actually quite small. I believe she had a displacement of something like 16-ish thousand tons, 15,700, but we can't go that low with the Dreadnought hull, so we're having to do it like this instead. Okay, with the slightly shorter hull, it actually looks a bit more how I would imagine the España class would look. Anyway, so that's fine. Now, we need to look at getting everything else done on this, so we're going to go for spacious. I think we can probably get away with bumping the range all the way up, because we're going to be using the multiple expansion engines and the Krupp armor to save on weight. Going to go for all the protection, because we want these things to be really tanky, because they're going to be a significant investment in cost. And we're going to give them, I think we're going to give them honestly capped AP shells and soft cap for the HE. Going to go with white powder and gun cotton as the propellants, because I don't want to make them a complete flash fire risk. And I think because we've lost out on essentially having a 5th turret, I think we might actually take the enhanced reload. That is going to bump the weight up a bit, but I think the armor belt on this is already pretty considerable. Yeah, it already has a 13-inch main armor belt. So we'll round that to 13-inch, and I'm thinking maybe we'll take the fore and aft belt up to 5 inches. Now, these are only Mark II 12-inch 39 caliber guns, so their accuracy is not particularly fantastic, but I'm just wondering if we increase the length of the barrel, if that's going to have much of an impact. So at 7,500 meters, it goes to 3.6%. No, we're going to leave that as it is, because I want to increase the superstructure armor to 1 inch. And I also want to play around with the deck armor. Now, this is probably going to put us overweight if we're going to have a 3.5-inch deck. Yep. Actually, I don't know if we even need the deck to be that thick, because I don't think we're going to be getting to the ranges where plunging fire is going to be too much of an issue quite yet, so maybe we'll leave the deck at 2.5. Okay, so I've upped the gamma to 14 inches. We've dropped the range a little bit to 3,800 kilometers, because I wanted to up the speed to 21 knots from 20. And I'm quite happy with that. I think 14 inch of main belt with Krupp armor in 1904, which means if we build one now, she'll be launching around 1906, mid-1906. I reckon that's going to be pretty tanky. They're not going to be top of the line for very long. We are going to build some much better dreadnoughts soon, but I think as sort of our first entry-level dreadnought, we just need to get things in the water. And moderately speaking, it's not too bad. And I just realized I haven't put a bloody funnel on this. Wow. Bit of a rookie move on my part. Now, of course, that's going to put us overweight again. My word. Okay, so we had to drop the main belt down a tiny bit to 13.78 inches to make up for that. But that is going to be the España class of Dreadnought. I think we're only going to build 2 of her before we upgrade our Dreadnought fleet again. So she will be a class of 2. Maybe 3 like it was historically, but no more than 3. This is all we're going to have. And at 43 million, it isn't the most expensive Dreadnought either. In fact, how much is it compared to the Invincibles? So the Invincibles are 32 million, so it's only 10 million more, which isn't too bad at all. Not too bad. Now, we can't build those battleships straight away because we do have a lot building already, but a decent number are going to be coming off the stocks in the next month and then 5 months, and we have a pretty sizable fleet as it is. So what we'll do, we will take the main fleet out of Barcelona and send that off to the American Eastern Seaboard, and as soon as we have space in the shipyard, we will get the España class building. So the Fleet of Oceans class is going to be going to war. Now, I believe that is the only one in this dock. It is. Is there... the other one is over here? Yes, the other one is over here. Okay, so we've got 2 fleets. We can send them both out. I think we're just going to... yeah, we're going to send the Mediterranean and the Atlantic fleet out to deal with the Americans. So we're going to send the Fleet of Oceans and her fleet out to the Caribbean. And we're going to take the Alejandro I out to the American Eastern Seaboard. Probably somewhere between... yeah, we'll go around this area, just north of the Caribbean, so that we're still relatively close to our supply ports. See if we can harass some enemy shipping. Well, the Empire of Japan wants to offer an alliance, but the problem is the alliance is going to cost all of the money and then some that we have. So I'm afraid... Japan, oh boy, we're going to have to turn you down. I'm very sorry with that. Oh, and the press in various countries is fully supporting of our war efforts. So the British, the Germans, the Russians, and the Japanese are all happy that we are at war with America. Funny that, considering they're an emerging naval power. I'm not surprised about that at all. Oh, and we're already starting to inflict transport losses on the Americans, which is good. Alrighty, we're going to build the first of the España class. We're going to have that built in Barcelona. And do we have enough tonnage to build 2? No, we don't. So we are going to have to stagger the build out. Unfortunately, at some point I had accepted a export battleship to be built without realizing it, and that has taken up a large chunk of our dockyard space. Has given us some extra money, which is nice, but I am rather paying the price for that now. Oh, and that did not take long at all. The enemy is eager to fight us with a strong fleet. The Americans are coming out swinging. Now, we have got 1 battleship. They have got 1 battleship. They have got more heavy cruisers, but we have got more light cruisers. And they have destroyers and torpedo boats. So they are actually coming into this fight at an advantage in the Gulf of Mexico. Now, they are mostly fielding... they're mostly fielding the Mexican fleet, in fact. So there's only 1 American ship in there, the Dahlgren, their torpedo boat. So it's mostly the Spanish versus the Mexicans. So what have they've got? They've got the Budapest, which is 2 12.2-inch guns, versus the last of our Conde de Tolosa classes, which is 2 9-inch guns. Okay, yeah, this is this could be an interesting fight because they're outgunning us and they're out-tunning us. So, unlike the previous engagements we've had so far, we really are going to have to fight this conservatively and try and keep the range a bit. Okay, so we've got the one single battleship here, the Incendio. Now I brought the heavy cruiser or armored cruiser Catalunya in to form a sort of semi-battle line with the single battleship, and we currently have the cruisers screening. However, with screening cruisers, they just tend to YOLO themselves into the enemy fleet. So as soon as we have the enemy fleet spotted, we are going to take manual control of every division because we just need to play this one a lot more carefully. Oh, and we have started to open up on the enemy fleet. I believe that was the heavy cruiser. Yep, the Catalunya has opened up. The Incendio is currently holding fire, although she is now coming under fire herself. Now the range is ticking down. We're up to 7 kilometers out now. I'm going to try to stay around the 5 kilometer mark if we can help it. And it looks like they are now making a run with their cruisers and their torpedo boats and their destroyers from what I can see here. These 4 ships are beginning to make a fairly aggressive approach to the fleet, so we're going to have to start watching out for torpedoes in the water, because at this point I am getting a little bit sick of taking torpedoes amidships because I haven't been paying attention. Oh, and we are starting to get some fires on this lead ship. Oh, and we're flooding it as well. Fantastic, brilliant start. That is, their heavy cruiser is already flooding. I don't think it has much armor. Oh no, it has a 7-inch main belt, actually. That might have been one of the battleships that hit it and penetrated it, because I know these light cruisers don't have much in the way of penetration. They're more good for setting fires at the moment. Oh, and we have damaged the torpedo boat's engine as well. Fantastic. Oh, the lead light cruiser has taken a slight hit. The Prosperidad has got a little bit of flooding damage, but nothing too major. However, it has taken a hit to its internal machinery, and it is now relinquishing the lead position. Oh, and a nice hit from the Catalunya there on the Brigands. That is causing some serious flooding. Oh, and she just took another hit. Oh, the Brigands might be going down. We just took out some of the torpedoes on the Dahlgren as well. Oh yes, they are going to lose their. They are going to lose that heavy cruiser. This is a good start. Oh, they have got a destroyer that is potentially coming in for a torpedo run, so we need to get the fleet turned around. We don't want to deal with more torpedoes. Yep, the Brigands just sank. Oh yeah, she's going down. Oh, and their heavy cruiser is making a run. Does this thing have torpedoes? It does. Alright, we need to focus all firepower on this heavy cruiser that is bearing down on us with frightening speed. Apparently their heavy cruiser captain came from a position as a destroyer captain before, and he has not completely understood the whole line of battle thing yet, and he's just charging in like a mad lad. Oh, and we just suffered a massive hit to the Prosperidad. The Prosperidad might be going down. The battleship Budapest has opened up. Alright, we need to pop smoke on our cruiser screen, and in fact we're going to put them up to full speed and get them out of there. Oh no, Concordia, what have you done? Oh no. No, not again, not again, not again, not again, not again. Oh, her torpedoes are out as well though. Although I think she might take a hit. She might just... Oh no. Oh, Concordia, why? Oh, that was a disaster. At least engage the torpedo boat, my goodness. Okay, the other torpedo boat has sunk at least, but oh no, Concordia, not another one. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Is that torpedo going to go for the other light cruiser now? Or it might. Right, we need to keep these things turning at all costs. Oh, and a thick fog has descended upon the battle, which is hampering the accuracy of the enemy fleet and our own. And that is actually buying our light cruisers some time to reform their line abreast the battleship. And the other cruiser squadron is severely damaged, and we're just trying to get them out of there, hopefully using the cover of the fog. Oh goodness. Oh, they are both being bonked. Oh, and they've just crashed into each other. Fantastic. Brilliant, brilliant organization, guys. Oh, we'll just RP that the Concordia was handing some extra crew over to Prosperidad to try and help with its repairs, but they are focusing fire on her painfully. Alright, now that we've regained some organization, we are going to re-engage the Mexican fleet. The Incendio does not have a good turning circle at all. I keep forgetting how poorly these old Conde de Toledo classes, Tolosa classes handle. Alright, we're just having the Prosperidad retreat, and she is about to get rammed by the Concordia again. Man, you two just, it's they clearly have an affection for each other. Look at them, look, it's giving it a hug. That's beautiful. Love in a time of war. And there is a lone torpedo boat having a run at our fleet, but I believe they've taken some damage to the bridge, and they've got zero leadership aboard, and I think they've just realized their error, and they are trying to run away as the secondary batteries from our fleet are now raining hellfire down upon them. Including main battery fire from the Incendio, I swore for a moment, but no, she's still engaging at the Budapest. Ooh, and the Animosa just took a bit of a hit there. I believe that was from the Miskolc. Oh, and their torpedo boat is now within range. That isn't good. Alright, everyone focus fire on that thing, please. Oh, what was that? Oh, that didn't sound good at all. Torpedo is in the water. Battleship, do not run into that torpedo. Don't you dare. Okay, we're engaging the torpedo boat at point blank range. And we cannot hit this torpedo boat to save our life. Alright, we have popped smoke on the cruiser squadrons. Now, neither the Budapest nor the Incendio have torpedoes, so we are now getting them straight into a straight-up gunfight. I'm hoping the combined fire of these two ships might be able to bring the Budapest to heel. The torpedo boat is now out of ammo, and we are going for the ram. Concordia, get it! Oh! That was brutal. Well done, Concordia. Give them what for. Alright, how's the battleship fight going? Okay, we have set the Budapest on fire. Alright, Concordia, we are just switching you to straight up AP. As are we doing with the Catalunya? We just need to bring this battleship down. Oh, wow. Was that a torpedo hit? Yes, it was. The Catalunya MVP came in at the moment that we needed most, and that is a catastrophic hit on the Budapest. Oh, dearie me. Right, with that in mind, we are going to take the Incendio in. I think the Budapest is actually going to go... I think she might be just going down. And the Budapest is sinking. We have taken out that big 12.2-inch battleship. That was a good reversal. Okay, the other cruiser screen has sort of recovered from its chaos. So we're going to reform that up with the battleship now. The Prosperidad is simply retreating away from the field of battle. We've sent her away, and I believe she's going to get away scot-free after taking some pretty heavy damage. And it looks like the Mexican fleet is beginning to disengage. The Incendio is trying to range in the Miskolc, but she wants none of it. And I think instead of pursuing, we are going to sail the fleet away. We are going to sail into the northeast, victorious after a bit of a sketchy start. Combination of luck, the foggy weather, and the MVP, which was the armored cruiser Catalunya, coming in to save the day with a massive torpedo hit on the Budapest. And there we go. That was a stunning victory of the Spanish over the combined American-Mexican fleet. We did suffer some heavy damage to one of our light cruisers, but all of them survived this engagement. I was a lot more conservative with my approach after the decimation of the Pacific Cruiser Squadron at the hands of the Chinese Navy. And my conservative approach was rewarded by the sinking of the Brigands in some fairly medium-range combat, and then a close-range knife fight with the Spanish battleship Budapest, which got sunk by a torpedo. Fantastic. That is a brilliant start to the war. Now, hilariously, from that victory, the fleet that was involved wasn't either of the fleets we sent out, it was the colonial fleet based at Habana. So one of the fleets I was in the process of getting ready to mothball decided, no, this is our time to shine, we want our moments of glory, and by God, did they go out and get it. So well done, lads. I'm glad that I left one of the Conde de Tolosa classes. I was going to scrap the Incendio, but the Incendio and her little squadron, including the Catalunya MVP. What class was the Catalunya? So she was the refitted Infanta Maria. So yeah, one of the older armored cruiser designs in our fleet roster. That was brilliant. Oh no, they're raiding us with their destroyer. Now I bet you if we auto resolve this, we're probably going to lose some, even though we can never sink their transports. Oh no, it was a draw. Thank goodness. Okay, now that we have the space, we can build the second of the España classes. And she is now being built. They're actually not taking too long to build. They only take 18 months, which is good. So it is currently June 1905. So they'll be around, they'll be commissioning New Year coming into 1907. Oh, and in the middle of the war, we have got a chance to potentially take the Dominican Republic. And I think that is a brilliant thing to do. So we're going to reassign the Northern Fleet and head into the battle area. Now, it only needs 18,000 tons, and we're bringing far more than that into the fight. So hopefully, that should be a fairly easy conquest for the Spanish fleet to accomplish in conjunction with the Spanish army. And we have now got another opportunity for the colonial fleet of the Spanish Navy to prove its worth. The Incendio and Catalunya are once again going up against the American-Mexican coalition. And we've got even more Mexican ships to deal with. We've got 2 battleships this time, not just 1, 2. 2 battleships, 3 heavy cruisers, a destroyer and a torpedo boat. And only one of the heavy cruisers is from the United States, which is the Missoula. Now we've got 2 of those 12.12-inch gun battleships to deal with. But, as we discovered last time, they don't have torpedoes. So it might be a case of using the light cruisers to screen the heavy cruisers, destroyers, and torpedo boats. And we will then get the Incendio and Catalunya close enough that we can maybe get a couple of cheeky torp hits in. We'll just have to play it by ear, I think, and see how this battle pans out. Alright, we're going to quickly slow the entire fleet down whilst we reorganize, because currently the fleet is spread out, and I want things to be a bit more compact for the idea that I have, and I'm praying that we don't get fog again, because what we need today is clear weather and good accuracy. And we have spotted the fleet at danger close, but thankfully we've got our line organized and we can approach this with a fairly level head, hopefully. Ah, that is the first of their torpedo boats, so we need to turn away from that post-haste. Oh, that poor torpedo boat's about to have a very rough time. What? Catalunya, why are you firing with your main guns? You're not gonna hit it. Secondaries only, my boy. Why are you aiming there? The ship is right here. Please get the range. Oh my, what are they aiming at? What are you? Wow, you need to work on your gunnery training. Oh, this is embarrassing. Look, you're leading your shots too much. Oh, there we go. We're slowly getting Orion. I don't know what that was, Incendio, but or that Catalunya. I don't know how they're all missing this stinky little torpedo boat, but it is the Anaconda. The little torpedo boat that could. Here we are screening the battleship from the rest of the fleet, which is just to the north. I think that torpedo boat's about to make a run on the Catalunya. Oh, and the Catalunya's torpedoes missed. No, this is not good. Get away, get away, get away, get away. Don't waste your torpedoes. How many have you got left? 6. Okay, we're gonna hold fire on the torpedoes. We need those for the battleship. It is quite sad that a torpedo boat has done not inconsiderable gun damage to a heavy or an armored cruiser, and they have done quite literally nothing to the torpedo boat as of yet. Oh, and the other torpedo boats are coming in. In fact, that might be that's the destroyer. Alright, their heavy cruiser has appeared out of the murk, so we're going to begin engaging that with the battleship and the armored cruiser, and we're going to use the light cruisers to deal with the torpedo boat and the destroyers if we can. Although the Villa de Madrid has already taken some moderate damage. So far, they have inflicted 1,100 points worth of damage on us, and we have got nothing to show for it. Oh, that torpedo boat is making a run for the Concordia. Oh, but the Concordia has got a torpedo out. Is it gonna hit the torpedo boat? Is it going to hit? Oh, it was a dud. That was such a good running shot, but we did get what appears to be a fatal hit on the torpedo boat before they could get their torps out. So that is good. Okay, so the left-hand flank is secure. We just have to worry about the vast number of enemy ships to starboard now. Okay, I'm getting the Incendio to focus fire on the enemy battleship. Now I am doing the opposite of what you should probably do, and I have got the heavy guys up front, slightly closer to the torpedo range of the enemy fleet. But as we have learned, these earlier tier cruisers, light cruisers for us, are very squishy. However, they are pretty good flamethrowers, so we're just having them throw out a line of fire. We're trying to get some fires set on the lead battleship. Oh, and the Prosperidad just took a really nasty hit from their battleship. One single shell hit dropped her by almost a full 50% of her total health. Oh no, that was a nasty hit on the Catalunya. Ooh. Oh, we might have bitten off more than we can chew with this. Alright, I think we're gonna potentially just see if we can disengage from this powerful Mexican squadron. Because without the Catalunya, the Incendio is going to be seriously outgunned. Because they've got three heavy cruisers and 2 battleships versus 1 battleship, and she only has 9-inch guns. They've got 12 inches, and their heavy cruisers have got 6.3s, but, you know, still enough to be a bit of a threat at close range. Alright, and we were able to pull away from the combined Mexican-US fleet, and that was still technically a victory because we sank the torpedo boat. Although I wouldn't really class it as a victory personally, but the near loss of that heavy cruiser was a bit too much of a risk. And oh my goodness, we leave one battle only to be thrust into another one, and it is a clash of the fleets. And I mean, this is a clash of the fleets. The pride of the Spanish Navy versus the pride of the US Navy. We have got the Fleet of Ocean class leading the main Atlantic fleet of the Spanish Navy. So what have we got? The Fleet of Oceans. We've got 2 more battleships. 1, 2, 3, 4 heavy cruisers. 3 light cruisers and a heap of destroyers for a screen, which is fantastic, against a lot of light cruisers for them. My goodness, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 light cruisers, I think, 4 torpedo boats, no destroyers, 4 armored cruisers, and 3 battleships. And I believe we have the battleship advantage because we've got 2 of the Pembroke class battleships, which are a pre-Dreadnought class, but they've got improved secondary batteries and pretty punchy 11.9-inch guns. They've got the Mississippi, which has got 3 twin pairs of 9.6 inches. The Indiana, which is the same. And they have the Kansas, which is 2 pairs of 12.6. So we outgun their battleships. So if we can use our battleships, particularly the Fleet of Ocean class, if we can use them to deal with their battle line, this could go seriously well. And would you look at this? This is a sight to behold. The battle line with the Fleet of Oceans leading, steaming along, our baby Dreadnought, our almost full Dreadnought, with those lovely 11-inch guns. We are ready to throw down with the US Navy. Okay, so we've got everything set as a giant screen as they've spawned in, and I honestly have doubts as to how effective that's going to be. So we are going to... So what's that? That is a screen of heavy cruisers. So the first thing we're going to do is set them to follow the battle line, and we're going to slow the battle line down whilst the fleet reorganizes itself. Oh, and our fleet has already been spotted, but we have not yet seen the enemy. That isn't good. And we have spotted the enemy at last. We have spotted one of their light cruisers, in fact. My goodness, they have a lot of guns on those. I don't know what the traverse is going to be like on that central frontally mounted gun, but we have spotted them. Okay, the enemy fleet is beginning to loom into view. And that's got to be one of their heavy cruisers, from what I can see. Man, that is an interesting design. That looks like a couple of really short barrel 9 inches. Where's their battleship? Surely that isn't their battleships. Oh, did I misread that as 2 singles instead of 2 twins? I may have, because that's the other battleship. Wow, okay, their battleships are really undergunned. Okay, this could be a literal cakewalk if we don't get too cocky. Alright, we are now beginning to get into proper gun range. Oh, and some of their ships are low on fuel. Oh, I think a lot of them are low on fuel. That is interesting. Oh, look at the rain of fire coming in from the battle line here. The Fleet of Oceans is opening up with all of her big 11-inch guns. Oh, and we've already got a flooding and a big frontal hit on the bow of this light cruiser. She might even sink. One of the destroyer flotillas is being sent ahead to engage what appears to be a dinky little torpedo boat destroyer. From what I can see here, it only appears to have 1 torpedo tube, but a lot of guns. Oh, and we did sink that ship. Okay, first blood to the fleet. Who actually got the 11-inch? Hit it. That was a kill for the Fleet of Oceans, I believe. Yes, it was. So the Fleet of Oceans gets her first naval kill on an American light cruiser. Frontally overmatched it with her 11-inch guns. What a brilliant start to the battle. Oh, now they are now starting to send in some of their bigger ships. There seems to be zero cohesion of the American fleet whatsoever. They seem to just be going all over the place. That appears to be their main battleship line. Ah, okay, we have found what appears to be their battleships. So that looks like it's a kind of... oh, wow, is that a coastal defense ship hull? Oh, these are really old battleships. Oh, goodness. Okay, yeah, those are ancient. So it looks like we're dealing with the United States Reserve Fleet against the might of the Spanish fleet, the Fleet of Oceans. Look at her go. Oh no, the Purificación has just taken a big shell hit, and I believe that's caused a flash fire. I don't know what hit her. I think it might have been one of their big heavy cruisers. Unless there's a battleship in that mix somewhere. That might be that. That looks like it could be a battleship. No, that is a heavy cruiser hull, definitely. Although that is a light cruiser. Okay, that isn't a battleship at all. Interesting. Oh, and another one of the heavy cruisers has taken a huge hit. There is something in their fleet that is dropping some big caliber. I wonder if it's this. Is it the Los Angeles? No. Something with 8.8-inch guns is hitting the heavy cruisers quite hard. And I think now it's time to take a more aggressive approach to the US fleet. The American torpedo boat is about to eat some torpedoes. Oh, maybe not, considering she just took a main gun hit from one of the battleships. I don't know if she's even gonna... No, I think she's I think the torpedoes... Oh, no, there we go, she sunk. Never mind. Okay, we're using the light cruisers to provide a smoke screen for the main battle line now as we're closing in the range. Well, unfortunately, we did lose one of our destroyers to a serious hit from one of their heavy cruisers before. Oh, and we've lost the heavy... Oh, no, that wasn't good. The Begonia has been sunk. What hit you? Oh, yeah, something out there has got 8.8-inch guns, which are beginning to shred the older ships. Oh, and the light carrier Louisville has been hit hard. She's going down. Oh, and we got a wonderful penetration on the light cruiser Langley. We're going to try and steer the entire fleet around the Americans if we can. But once again, the heavy cruisers are taking an absolute beating, and I think it's the Los Angeles that's causing this problem, so we're going to focus on her. Oh, and there goes the Santa Ana. Yep. Alright, that's another heavy cruiser that's gone down. So it looks like the American fleet has fairly impotent battleships, but pretty tanky light and heavy cruisers. Okay, we're going to make our first attempt at a torpedo run now. See if we can get amongst the US fleet and inflict some heavy damage with our guns. Oh, and it looks like we did get a good hit on the light carrier Oakland just before. I believe that was a salvo from the Fleet of Oceans. Yep, down goes the Oakland. Alright, we're going to take a big risk with these two destroyers here. We're going to slot them straight between the light cruisers and the heavy cruisers. And the torpedoes are out. It looks like they might hit the Los Angeles head on. Oh, and they just missed. deeply unfortunate. And now we are going to pay the price. Oh, that was a nasty hit from her port torpedo. Oh, what on earth was that? That was a diabolical hit. Oh, it looks like that was a main hit from the American battleship. Friendly fire. Yeah, look, BB 12.6 inches has hit her. Trying to hit the little destroyer and it missed with catastrophic results for the armored cruiser Los Angeles. Guardiana, get out of there. You're in a bit of danger. Go, 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 go. And the Biloxi is also sinking. Oh, and the Langley is sinking as well. We have caused some serious damage to this cruiser screen here. Now, what sank them? Was any of this from the torpedo run? Yeah, it was. So the torpedo run hit the Langley, and I believe that she just took a lot of cumulative damage from different ships eventually. But those two destroyers have paid the ultimate price for causing utter chaos in the cruiser screen of the American fleet. Their sacrifice will not be forgotten as we rearrange the fleet for round 2 with the Americans. Oh, and the crossfire from all the destroyers and the battleships and the cruisers combined has set all of these ships on fire. We haven't gotten any decent hits yet, although we have hit the bridge of the Anniston quite hard. Now, out of the 3 battleships, the Fleet of Oceans is the only one that's managed to get any kills so far, and she has done nearly 10,000 points worth of damage. She has hit the heavy and light cruisers of the American Navy very, very hard. So this is a brilliant outing for the Fleet of Oceans. She is pulling her weight today. Alright, the entire fleet is now tacking. Oh, and the San Gennaro just took a torpedo detonation, which has caused some minor flooding amidships and damaged the propulsion system as well, which isn't ideal. I think she's falling out of the battle line. She is. We're going to have her follow the main battleship line now. Okay, we're going to be sending in our next trio of torpedoes into this group of 4 light cruisers. Although the Seattle is coming in hand over fist, we're going to pop smoke to drop her ability to hit us. And we're going to get the battle line to focus fire on the Seattle if we can. Alright, the torpedo flotilla is getting within range. Switching torpedo policy to aggressive, and hopefully some of them will actually fire. All torpedoes are in the water. Fishes look good. One of the Vinciens has taken a nasty hit from one of our main batteries, and those torpedoes look like they are just going to miss her. And they are going to miss the Detroit as well. Unlucky. But do we have more torpedoes in the water? I'm uncertain. Oh, their light cruiser has gone down though, and I believe those torpedoes are now heading towards a dead boat. That is correct. Alright, we're going to tell those destroyers to not fire the rest of those torpedoes because they're going to be an absolute waste. Oh, and one of the other torpedoes did hit, but it was a dud. Most unfortunate. And yes, one of the other torpedoes did hit the sinking cruiser. And we have found the battle line of the American fleet, low on fuel, and as it turns out, low on tech. Oh, and the Seattle is sinking. My goodness. Oh, and the Fleet of Oceans took her out. Aft belt penetration straight down into the Citadel. Fleet of Oceans, well done. Look at her go, she's done 16,000 points of damage. She is decimating the American fleet. Did one of you fire a torpedo without my permission? Oh, I only set the front one to not fire torpedoes. So the torpedo the destroyer flotilla still fire the rest of their torpedoes, but we are going to sink the Detroit because of that, so I will take that as a win. And we are now beginning to reorganize our fleet again to go forth and engage the US Navy's battle line, head to head. Oh, the Detroit is not sinking. Her damage control party is very, very good indeed. Gonna pop smoke on the light cruisers because they are now starting to take fire from the American big boys. Fleet of Oceans is opening up on the battleship Kansas at a range of only 4 kilometers. Okay, we're probably about as close as we want to be, really. So we will ask them to adjust their course. Alright, we're going to send our torpedo flotilla in to try and get a couple of cheeky torps off on the US battle line if we can. Fleet of Oceans is still keeping up a good continuous fire on the American fleet. Here comes the destroyers. Oh, and the Pampero just took a very nasty hit from the Kansas. She could be in trouble if we're not careful. Fire your torpedoes, please. There we go, torpedoes are in the water. It looks like some are heading for the Indiana. Are they going to hit the Indiana? Oh, they certainly are. One hit, two hit, and Indiana is in a lot of trouble. That could sink her. But oh no, there's more. There's torpedoes in the water. Quickly, Guardiano. No. Oh, that was deeply unfortunate. All right, these torpedoes are now at, this squadron is now out of torpedoes. The Destructor is sinking. The Indiana is going to go down. There we go. One of their big battleships is now down, but I believe the torpedo squadron of destroyers has paid the ultimate price. Their light cruisers are re-engaging us. We're detaching the other destroyers to see if we can take out the St. Louis. Oh, and there goes the Lorez as well. Okay, torpedoes are out on the light cruiser Oklahoma. We need to get that destroyer out of there. Looks like the torpedoes are going to miss, unfortunately. They are indeed. And this fight has been going on for a considerable amount of time now. Both fleets have taken very heavy losses. We have lost almost all of our torpedoes, doing some very risky runs. They have lost a lot of their cruiser screen. They have lost a battleship. We have not. And they are losing another torpedo boat as we speak. Now we are going to get the battleships to focus on the American Mississippi. Oh, and the Purificación, the first of her class, has finally gone down after a very long struggle against flooding. Oh, and did we just land a good hit on the Mississippi? We did, just as we turned away. Flooding hit on the Mississippi. That's dropped her floatability down to 50%. I believe Fleet of Oceans has at last found the range. Oh, and boy did she find the range. And the Mississippi's going down. That was a massive hit from the Fleet of Oceans. The American fleet is now down 2 battleships, and their little torpedo boats that were giving chase for Allied cruisers just got utterly annihilated. Right, we're going to turn the fleet round and engage the last of their fleet. So the last of their battleships is the Kansas, and the Kansas just got utterly mullered. Oh my god. Oh. Yeah, an absolute spanking. What on earth hit her? Oh, that was a deck penetration, and I believe the one that did a lot of that damage was one of the light cruisers. No, it was as always the Fleet of Oceans with her big 11-inch guns. The Fleet of Oceans, fleet's pride and joy, completely executed the battle line of the American fleet with cold, hard precision. She is a force to be reckoned with, and she has done her name proud today. Oh ho ho, and the Buffalo also just copped an absolute spanking. And down she goes, and that is game... Oh no. Apparently the Detroit is now steaming in for some punishment as well. Oh, Detroit, don't do it. Don't throw away your life. And I believe the Detroit just got executed. Yep, that was a brutal end. And that is game, set, match against the American Navy. And I would call that a fairly comprehensive spanking. Now, we did take some casualties. We lost 3 heavy cruisers, and we lost all but 1 of our destroyers. We lost 8 destroyers. None of our light cruisers, surprisingly. But we lost 3 of the heavy cruisers, which makes me think maybe it's time to retire the Purificación class as well, because they just weren't standing up to the punishment that the US cruisers were dealing out. Now, something with 8.8 inches, 8.3s, it was the Seattle's. Was it just the Seattle? Something else had 8-inch guns, I'm pretty certain. But the Seattle definitely, total damage done. None, okay. So who did the most damage? Oh, look. The Fleet of Oceans with 27,000 damage dealt. Surprise, surprise. But just look at the casualties on the American side. 3 battleships, 2 heavy cruisers, all 10 of their light cruisers, and all but 1 of their torpedo boats. And following that startling victory, we need to take the Atlantic fleet back to port, because we need to recoup those losses. Because we need to build some torpedoes, and we need to possibly build some heavy cruisers as well, because that was brutal on both parts. I mean, we got a brutal victory, but they also inflicted some very heavy hull losses on us as well. It wasn't a complete cakewalk. That was a hard-won fight. And the invasion of the Dominican is going well, and we also have a chance to test out the Invincible class, because we've got a large convoy defense, and we've got Invincible and the old Firm class battleship, which was the first battleship the Fleet of Ocean designed purely for export, against a heap of American cruisers, all armed with 6.1 or 4.1 inch guns. Alright, so we've got a large convoy to defend, and the enemy is off to the southwest, so we are going to send the Invincible out on her first combat sortie to defend Spanish trade. She is our baby Dreadnought. She is armed with twin 10-inch guns, with just a small battery of 2-inch secondaries, which are technically tertiaries at this point, and then we have the ancient old Firm class, with 8 9-inch guns mounted in a square battery array. Now we also have some ancient torpedo boats at our disposal. We don't have any torpedo boats in our fleet, but these were loaned to us, and we have at last spotted the raiders at extreme range, bearing down for our transport fleet. They're mostly old and outdated cruisers, which is a common theme with this. The AI really doesn't like modernizing their fleet much. Oh, and the Invincible just got a main gun hit on the Herndon. That has got to hurt. Oof, and one of those torpedo boats just got a bit of a hit from the destroyer, the Leonard F. Mason. All these torpedo boats actually work. Oh no, that isn't good. Oh, that was a dud torpedo. Are these ones going to be duds? Oh, they are not. A torpedo boat actually worked. Oh, that was brutal. Oh no. That torpedo was not a dud. I think she's going to outrun us. Alright, we're going to turn that torpedo boat around to try and get this destroyer or this light cruiser over here. Their heavy cruisers don't seem to really want to come to the party. Oh, and the other torpedo boat is sinking, and I think we're about to lose this one as well. But honestly, they did their job. They sank one of their light cruisers, which were amongst the biggest threats to the transports, and she's got her torpedo in the water anyway. And that might hit the destroyer. Nope. No, it is not. And that was technically a victory. Okay, so that was a little bit of quick action for the Invincible there. Consider that a more aggressive version of a shakedown cruise. But the important thing was that we defended our transports. Oh, and we've got another fleet encounter, and the Invincible once again is going to be going out into the fray with the Infanta Maria Teresa and a bunch of ships lended to us by the Venezuelan fleet. So the opposing fleet, I believe, has a tonnage advantage. Maybe? Maybe. No, we technically, I believe, have more tonnage in the water because they've got an old battleship, which has got 2 sets of twin 12 inches versus our baby Dreadnought. So the Caribbean theater of the American-Spanish War is getting really hot really quickly, but we will leave this fight for next time, as I believe we are already well beyond the 30-minute mark in this video. My, what an exciting year 1905 has been. I don't know how long my tenure, how many videos my tenure is going to cover at the rate that we're going with these battles. But hopefully we can beat the Americans into a submissive peace before long, and we can speed things through to Brother Munro's tenure as First Sea Lord beginning in 1910, because we're going to start seeing the first of the super dreadnoughts getting built then. But before we get to that, we also need to start thinking about my flagship, the ship that will be built in my own name and image. But all of that will be looked at next time, as we continue the war of Spain versus the United States in 1905, and oh boy, have they been getting a spanking thus far.